Hey guys, it is June 3rd and it's been about almost a month since we did a garden tour, and the garden is acting very strange this year, and it is being a very late bloomer. The weather's just been odd. So I thought I would take you along to see how everything has changed and what's growing. So I'm standing at the front door of the garden, the gate, and you can see I've got some very happy collards still, a bunch of collards here, and some kale. Panning around this way, I got my my lima beans. I've got the Henderson bush lima beans growing in this bed, and then I've also got them in the front of this bed here. So in this bed I have cucumbers growing right there. I've got tomatillas in the middle. I've got sunflowers here and there. I've got more tomatillas all the way to there. And then I also have yellow wax beans growing in front of the tomatillas here. And then some purple bush beans and some purple running beans and some rattlesnake beans growing in there. So I have just started getting, you can see some of those lima beans. I've just started, also the tomatillas have just started making flowers and the little balloons that they grow in. And this cucumber, I need to look at it real good. It's got lots of flowers on it, some little teeny tiny cucumbers, but I haven't picked anything off that yet. And I'll give you a better look. The only thing I've been picking from over here is the yellow wax beans, and the only thing that I planted later than usual this year is these green beans, yellow wax beans, and some rattlesnake beans. And as you can see, they're putting on pretty good. I'm harvesting about a double handful every few days, so they are just now starting to come in good. So it has been definitely strange with having everything come in later. So I got that. I gotta go find my bowl that I started harvesting in. Let's go grab that, and then we can harvest some more, kind of make our way back over here. So in this bed right here, I pulled out all the onions, and now I just have the blue salvia and this dill, and it's still got a little wet. Is already gonna be, I'm never gonna have to plant dill in the garden again, because I've got several plants that are going to seed and did very well this year in these beds. I got some cilantro and some calendula growing in there as well, and a couple basils. And then in this bed right here, look at all the ripe tomatoes. I don't know what that is. That says it's a pink ox heart, but it don't look like a pink ox heart. It looks like a round tomato with kind of some fluting going on in it. There's another one. So I don't know what that is. We'll have to come back and pick it. Got some collards intertwined. And then out in my other garden bed, I got some Mexican sunflowers, which are creeping back into here. And then here I have a Dr. Witchy and some other one. I bought new Dr. Witchy seeds this year, and I only ended up with a couple of plants. And then these say these are Chef's Choice Black, which I believe that because looks like a Chef's Choice Black to me. And then I got some more down there that haven't turned yet. And then this was one of the first sunflowers. So usually by mid-May the whole garden is just busting with sunflowers everywhere, really tall ones. And I guess I planted the majority of shorter sunflowers this year because and this weird weather has made it to where they're just now starting, except for a couple of them, they're just now getting going good. And this is the spoon. You can see some in there. The spoon tomatoes. I got those free at Baker Creek. I got a couple packages free. So I planted those. That was my first time planting them. And I've already harvested most of the red ones off of there. I'll show them to you in my bucket. In here is nothing but a volunteer pumpkins. And then you can see I just cleaned this bed out because I was harvesting wigglers out of that bed to go fishing with. And these beds that are back here in the shade that get a little water are perfect. I throw my compost in these a lot, and they are perfect for harvesting and growing compost and wigglers. So we just went fishing yesterday for the first time in a long time. And then in this bed right here, I have the borlotti beans. And this was lettuce that I just pulled up in this bed right here. This was my onions. That is green beans, which I need to check and see if there's any in there. And then this was my squash bed. The squash, I got squash for a couple of weeks. And then the squash all died. About mid-May, they were done. So it was a little too wet, and these squash bugs, I guess everything just wasn't ideal for them. So that's okay, because we have harvested a lot of squash in the past 3 years, and I've put up a lot. So that's not a big deal. And this is just a volunteer tomato plant that I'm letting go in there. This is was my spring brassica bed, and it's all done. And then right here I got my banana peppers and some jalapenos, which I just picked. And then there's another sunflower. I believe those are the ice cream sunflowers. And I got some basil, and there's another one right there that just finally shot up that is about to flower. And then I got some more. Those are the Tachi tomatoes. I just got a couple of them off here that were blushing, but look at the clusters. These have the most magnificent clusters out of all the tomatoes this year. And usually by now, when it gets June, I know that my time is running out on my tomatoes, and we're just getting started. I've gotten a couple of small 2 or 3, 4 tomatoes at a time, and there are those spoon tomatoes down in there. I'm not sure what, I think this is a Better Boy, but this came off when I had labeled as a pink oxheart, and it's a cat-faced. I've not gotten one like that in a long time. And then I just got a few banana peppers, and then here's what the borlotti beans look like. Got a couple places where they're growing, and they are way late. Like, they just started getting ripe, and I've got some, I've tucked in some rattlesnake beans back here in my tomato bed to try and help hold up my tomatoes back here. And so I had almost forgotten about that, and now I just saw that there are beans that are ready to pick. And the rattlesnake beans are a green bean that you can let dry, and they're a pinto bean, but they have no strings. They are tender even when they are big, and they especially in the early spring or the fall, they stop producing through the hottest part of the summer, but in the fall they taste so good when it's a little bit cooler weather outside. They're just so crisp and sweet. Okay, what is that? That's a Comstock sauce. First time growing that. It's just now kind of get going a little bit. And then I'm not sure, what did I grow here? Rosella. So this one is Rosella, and it has, this was supposed to be like a saladette that was this rosy, if I can get some light. This rosy pinkish color, but these are a lot smaller than I imagine them being, in the way that they looked on the packaging and the description. So we'll be looking to see if those get any bigger. Look at this rattlesnake bean, just barely has any color left on it. I've definitely have missed these. We'll definitely have a mess of green beans. I don't know what we're going to eat with the green beans yet. 7:30 at night. Still a long ways from dark. Definitely got some big rattlesnake beans in here. But they are helping me hold up my tomato plants back here. So that's a plus. And they're giving me beans. And these are my favorite green bean. I'll never not grow them. I have probably 150 or so, probably about 50 or so jars of canned green beans in my pantry right now that are mostly rattlesnake beans and some of the yellow wax beans. They are my two favorite. And I usually grow some purple ones just to add an extra color in there. Which the rattlesnake beans, they have a little bit of color on them. Have some purple rattlesnake looking markings on them. I think that is it. Oh, what is this? I think this is a Sartre Rose. And this is not ready to pick yet. But look, this is supposed to be a yellow and purple flower. And I am super excited about that. Not sure what this one is. My Gilberty. All of my tags are fading. So if we flip around this way, I've got tomatoes there, tomatoes here, got some more of those Berlotti beans growing right here, and this is my determinate celebrities, Tachis, saucy ladies, mostly celebrities though. And then I got down here, I got the Berlotti beans. And they are really pretty. These are shellin beans. Sometimes people call them cranberry beans or horticulture beans, or there's dwarf varieties and there's vine varieties, and they're just good beans. They're good, big, plump shellin bean, and I like shellin beans. I love shellin peas. I love shellin purple hulls, which I haven't planted my purple hulls. I did get ahead since my squash gave out. I got ahead when I started pulling out onions and planting lima beans, but I haven't planted my Christmas vining lima beans yet, and I haven't planted my purple hull peas. I've just planted butter peas and Henderson bush limas so far. But look at this tomato. This is a big boy hybrid, and he's got some big boys on there. If I can get him off. There's that one. And I have been looking at these tomatoes for a few days, needing to come out and grab them, and I've been so busy. So there's two decent big boy hybrids. And this one says it is a celebrity. Oh, I guess that one was a celebrity. So it's on the determinate aisle. Oh no, it was on that one. Oh, that's a big boy. Okay. So nice to see all these tomatoes on here, because I feel like I've been waiting forever. Usually in May, I start getting bumper crops of tomatoes, and it's been a good year for my basil and onions and cabbage that I started growing in the fall. And the basil that I just started growing this spring. This is probably, I don't have a tag, but it's probably another celebrity. And there is a bunch on here. So I'll be interested to see how much harvest we get this evening. There's more celebrities that are turning. Need to get my bucket and bring it over here. I see some tachis on the other side. That's the first time for me growing the Saucy Ladies and the tachis from Hoss Tools. But I'm thinking I'm going to be liking the tachis. Especially how the one that is on the back side is loading up for the big cluster. Several big clusters all in one area. So this is the, oh, that's for the sunflower. Tachi. So that is tachi. Oh, something's already getting my tomato. All these bugs, I haven't sprayed for nothing this year. I usually can have healthy enough plants and enough harvest to where the bugs don't bother me that much, and by the time they take something out, I've had my fair share of it anyways. So those are the tachis. They're growing on this side. And I believe a couple that are blushing a little bit down here. What does that say? Celebrity. So some nice ones in the determinate area. My basket's already, or my bowl is already getting full. So on this aisle we have Big Boy Hybrids, Chef's Choice Black, and Pink Oxheart mostly. And I believe this side over here is the first tomato plants that I planted. They're only that tall, so they aren't growing a tremendous amount like they usually are. The weather just, sometimes it's really warm, sometimes it's cooler, sometimes it's service of the sun. So these on this side is ones that I bought from the store, and they are the Big Boy Hybrids. And this is some cherry tomato. I'll have to see what I can find out about it on the other side. And then I have these sweet yellow marigolds that I planted in here. And I never did plant anything in there, so I gotta weed that again. Plant some beans in there so that it's not taken over with weeds again. And on this side, let's see what that is. This is a Pink Oxheart. It don't look like it. That looks like a Chef's Choice Black. I bet that's the one coming off there. This is Pink Ox. But I bet that's a Chef's Choice Black. And then there's another one. So I've had the worst every year I do, but see that's army worms. And I'll see if I can see some to show you. But I just pull the leaf off when I see them. I just take off the whole leaf and throw it far away. And that's how I deal with the armyworms. And then over here we got these, I think these are the Metke. No, these are a different one. The Metkes are the ones that are over there that are big and long, like the Armenians. But these are just small. And I thought I planted bush steak hybrids over here with a lot of basil. I've already made one big batch of basil. And I am getting ready to do another one. Looks like I need to be anyways. And I have gathered up a few cucumbers already. These these cucumbers don't get big. So whatever they are, they just start turning yellow after they get this big. They don't just keep growing giant like a lot of cucumbers do. They just go out here and one day, you know, they're small and the next day they're as big as your arm. These aren't like that. And I think these are the bush hybrids. Let's go ahead and pick this up. Bring it over here. Okay, so already this row was squash and spaghetti squash, and I've already had to replant it, and I planted some. There's one or two three cucumbers. I also planted cucumbers in here, and everything pretty much died in here. So I replanted some Hell's Best Jumbo cantaloupes to see what they would do. And that's a cucumber. It's got a little cucumber on it. But I had to I just added more compost and planted some zinnias and some okay, well, got interrupted with a phone call. So that's what we got going on in here. We got some cantaloupe and a couple cucumbers still going in there. In this bed back here, I've got some of my amaranth and a bunch of zinnias and a couple sunflowers and different flowers in here. And that's what's going on. That bed's basically just a flower bed. And then over here, I have planted some sugar babies and some, let's see what this says, crimson sweet watermelons, and there's one amaranth in there. And I heard that the amaranth would help draw the squash bugs away from the cucumbers and stuff. So this side right here did better. It is growing some kind of, I think these are the crooknecks, the Canada crooknecks. So it's been growing them pretty decently. I've added more compost to them for my other worm bin, and I still got some onions down there that I haven't pulled out yet. And pretty much that's the only thing going in here. Besides, on this end I got basil and some cosmos and marigolds. On the end I did plant some more of those Metkes in there, and here is what they are looking like. They are not growing, so I don't know if they don't like the soil that's going on in there or what, or the temperatures, but they are not growing huge like they were advertised to. So we got some basil and a few of those crookneck butternut squash growing in there. And then coming around, here's one of my better sunflowers. This is a multi-branching one that gets 6-7 feet, and he's only about 6 feet, probably 6.5, and he's just been growing forever. And all of a sudden he got tall and started putting on all these little sunflower heads, and he's got a big stalk, so hopefully he won't fall over. And I've got another one right here. I don't know what is. There's 3 more on that side. And down here I've got some Ichabod eggplants. So there's one there. There's still some kale in here. I've been composting in place in this bed. I'm going to put some more dirt on top of this compost. But I've got 1, 2, 3 Ichabod eggplants in there. That's the skinny ones that you can get it pretty commonly. This is my celery, and I've been harvesting it pretty regularly. This is some more broccoli that I've never pulled out. And I got a few more. There's another sunflower down there. So I need to harvest what's left of this celery, because I harvested it all down to the where it was just the stalk left in there, and I can probably harvest it again before it gets too hot. And with the celery, I just chopped it up and canned it with my green onion tops. And it's a great addition to soups. In this bed, I have a couple of okra, and I've got some more of those. Well, what I planted was the Bushmaster, I think the Space Master bush, but this is a cantaloupe. I planted some cantaloupe seeds in here, so it looks like we've got a couple of them that I need to train to go up this thing. And I got a couple of okra, and then a bunch of zinnias and different types of basil. I think this is a spicy basil. And yeah, I didn't show you what was in this bed in between there and there. This is the winter squash, and I had a bunch of crooknecks on there and a bunch of the trombosino squash, and they started dying off. So we'll see what makes it. I haven't harvested any squash from there. Squash are having a rough year. But this is just some kale that's going to seed. This half the bed I need to get weeded. And then on this half the bed, from the middle and the front, is all white Dixie butter peas. And then back here I've just got 4 different tomatoes growing in here, just different varieties, Chef's Choice, just different ones I had left over. And that's some of the butter peas. That's what they look like. And they grow a little bit of a vine, and they're holding on to the tomatoes. But that is that. And then on the other side of that aisle is where I had red Pontiacs and Yukon Golds. And I pulled them all up, and that's gonna be something else soon. Maybe my purple whole peas. And that was a zucchini bed, and I've dug in it yesterday and got half of the worms that we got and took fishing. So going around to this bed's doing a lot better. This end had better soil, ended up with better soil than that end, but I keep putting more because I had spaghetti squash down there and they weren't doing very good. But I also had those vining, I bought some kind of vining Kakuzi squash or Cozelli squash, some kind of vining summer squash, and they were doing good on here. So I've got this packed as well. I've got zinnias, I've got flowers in the front, I've got peppers growing all throughout here, I've got beans. I planted those red shelling beans that I did in my seed haul that I've never planted before, so I'm just letting them go, and I just planted those to help support. Oh, look there, holy moly. I planted some cucumbers in here too, and there's a cucumber. And then on this end I planted some more of those shelling beans. And then this is all snapdragons and flowers. That's just weeds. And then I planted a couple of peppers in here that I had left over. And that is some amaranth. I tucked in some amaranth around these squash, try and trap plant them. But I want to see what this is. This is one of those vining Cozelli squash. It is, I think it's past the point of eating it as a summer squash, but it's not yet turned into winter squash. So down here is my jalapenos, and then you can see that cucumber plant's got plants going everywhere. And here's some more of those little Caselli squash. I might pick the small one to see what they're like, because I've got several on here. And so far, I just started producing little bitty peppers on my pepper plants. Those are mostly my jalapenos, and then on the other side is banana peppers. And then coming around, we've got a pepper and basil bed with a volunteer tomato. Down here, I've got some peppers. And then in this bed, I have peppers. So, we've got 2 of the fish peppers. And that might be a fish pepper too back there. But I've got 2 of the variegated fish peppers. They're just now starting to put on little peppers, and they're kind of shorter. I have some of the, I think these tall ones are the poblanos. And they just started making little nubs. And this is the Buena Mulata. I'm so excited. I've been trying to grow this since last year, these Buena Mulatas, and that is the first pepper that I've gotten. But they are so pretty. They look like purple cayennes, and I've heard that they are very hot. That's a datil pepper back there. And then in this bed here, I keep amending and add more compost to it. I don't know what kind of tomato that is. It's a volunteer. So I just let it stay there. Got another Buena Mulata right there. See how it's purple? We got some cardinal basil. And then I got some pepper plants throughout that were leftovers. In the middle, I've got some banana peppers. I got a banana pepper here, here, and here. And there. And then I have a green night eggplant down there, some more peppers, and some lettuce leaf basil, and some more Genovese basil. And then I got some snapdragons and little flowers. And then this is a potato bed that I planted late, that I lost my potatoes and then I found them. And it's mostly weedy. And I don't suspect there to be anything, but I'm waiting a little longer to see if something comes up. I had some orange snacking peppers in here, but I was going to move some of my volunteer tomatillos into this bed. So I moved them into my new pink green stalk that I got for Mother's Day. And I don't know what this flower is. I planted it in here. But I got some, I'm trying to make into my hot sauce bed exclusively, besides having some flowers in there. This is the pink gomphrena, about I think the only plant that made it, and of all the little seeds that I planted. But it is getting big and multiplying. And then in here I have habaneros and datil peppers. All those are habaneros and datil peppers. I want to get a couple ghost peppers to go in here, and then I got some little flowers. This is a hot cayenne pepper, because I never got around to planting cayennes, so I just got one. There's still some carrots in here, so I still got room for some super hots if I ever make it to the store to get some more to add to this bed, because I certainly have room. I've got, especially if this kale comes out, I've got room for 1 or 2 plants here, and that whole side down there is available. And then in this bed, I had a bunch of volunteer Tabasco peppers. So those came, I had those in the fall, and I put them in a bucket or in a grow bag, and then I've just transplanted some of those out. These are some of the, I believe this is going to be a poblano pepper, and that's from last year that I overwintered in grow bags. And this is, I don't know what kind of tomato it is, but I need to stake it up some more. These tomatoes just died, these 3. I don't know why. They were looking so good. This one in the back I transferred from my my chicken pen. It was a volunteer in my chicken pen. And so it's doing pretty good. It's still growing. That tomato is growing on it. And I got Swiss chard, and then in the front I just have a mixture of peppers, and these are datil peppers. And there's some cherry hot peppers too. That's a cherry hot. I can tell already. And then I just have some more flowers that I'm going to plant out somewhere else. This is one of those volunteer tomatoes that I moved from somewhere else, so it's just kind of coming back. And I just cleaned out these are peas. And then turning around, this is a butter peas in here. There is nothing growing in that bed yet. It's still got some kale in it. And this is my massive Morris heading collards that grew in this bed that I kept throwing tons of compost in. So I've got all those greens, and I need to just pick them all and steam them and can them. And then in this bed I got more collards and a bunch of okra that I direct seeded, and some zinnias. There was another big dill plant in here, and some other greens that are going to seed. And there was a sunflower that is fallen over. So that's pretty much what I got going on in the garden. And I'll show you guys what we got going on in the on the green stalks so far. If I find my basket, we got in this thing right here, I planted some earlier bush beans, and they did not germinate all that well. There's only a few plants in here, but they are the yellow wax and the purple. And there's a couple of volunteer pumpkins that I planted there. Those are the Jack B. Little pumpkins. Just put them in there so they would have a place to go. And so far, this is what my harvest basket is looking like. So that's what we ended up with today. We got one of those vining squash, a couple of these crookneck butternuts, and lots of tomatoes, lots of green beans, lots of yellow wax beans, some cucumbers, banana peppers, jalapenos. Here's another one of my dill plants that's going to seed. There's going to be dill plants everywhere. And this is my little herb planter that I planted. It's still got cilantro and basil. This is just Genovese basil and some blue salvia. And I have been picking off that to make my pesto. And this is I forget the shiso. It's purple. Right now it's not happy. It's doing something. It's going to seed or something. But that is a beautiful dill plant right here in this planter. This is one of my pink amaranths. I think there's just one in there. Yeah, that's just one plant. Look how pretty it is. And then I got some red salvia and some rosemary. And there's a datil pepper in the back. And I wanted to show you what my green stalks are looking like. So this is the blue one that I got for Christmas. And it's got strawberries. The strawberry plants are doing good in there. I planted some calabracoas. Still got some little carrots in here. I planted a Ichabod eggplant up there. And there's some little flowers that I planted in these holes. I still got some Swiss chard back there. I got some pentas growing right there. And some more strawberries. I think that's all the exciting stuff. Or periwinkles, I'm sorry. There's more periwinkles. These are pink ones that's seeded from my big pink plant with the periwinkles. And I just popped them in because I like the pink with the white and pink. And then there's my calabracoas and the dahlias that are growing in there. And then that erythrium plant still hasn't done anything. And there's yellow calabracoas in there. It's been kind of hot today. This is the planter. I have some more basil and some pink petunias. And then over here I got my pink petunias and geraniums and chives and some more dill. And then here is my lovely pink basket weave original green stock. And in this one we have some pink calibrachoas, and I planted those orange snacking peppers in there. Here's a shiso, another volunteer shiso that is actually looking okay. This is a Swiss chard. This is marjoram. More peppers, more of the periwinkles. This is another pepper. This is a red sweet bell pepper. These are little beets that I just had in my garden that I popped out. This was a little pepper plant, but he didn't make it. And up here we got some volunteer coleus that I just picked up out of the yard, and some more of those peppers. And then this one right here is my Mexican chilies. I forget what the name of those are. I'd have to go back and look at my seeds. But this is my container that has, this was used to be in that purple container, and I just threw that away because it was falling apart. And I replanted my ginger. So this is actual eating ginger like you buy in the store. So I just bought these from the store as ginger roots for in the produce section and planted those. And then I got some pink and white periwinkles and some purple periwinkles. I've been growing this one for a few years, and this is pineapple sage that's been coming back for a few years in a different pot. So that is what I got going on in my planters. And I'll show you what some of the flowers are looking like. I watered them this morning or yesterday morning. That's my lemon tree. This is my geraniums and calibrachoas and sedum. There is another one of those purple containers that has the purple pentas and some purple mums and some couple of pepper plants. This is just got blue salvia, and this has still got some my parsley, my curly parsley, and some red snapdragons. And then up there we've got some red jalapenos to harvest, and then we got some pink petunias and some sedum in here. My variegated, these need to be deadheaded mums. And let's see what else is interesting. My sage and my Persian lime with some purple, really pretty purple petunias and sage. And then here's some more of the sage and geraniums that need to be deadheaded. This is what, here's the yellow one and the sage. And then this one right here is snapdragons, marigolds that I planted from seed, and salvia. It's got a little bit of pink, yellow calibrachoas going in it as well. And then this one has the double calibrachoas, little pink doubles, with some Anglonia that came back and a hibiscus. And this has also got some more purple sage and some red sage and some purple queen, I think is what it's called, that wandering Jew stuff. And then back here, I can't remember the name of those purple flowers, but that's what they look like. And then I got these back here. These were 2 in 1 pot. They were like on sale for $5. They had a big sale on them at Lowe's, so I got them to go in the back to add some interest. And it's got heather going up here, and I popped in some coleus. So I'm still in the market to get me a flag to go right there. And now my jasmine is blooming. This one looking really good since I moved it over here, so it must like it right here. But it's getting that time of year. It blooms in summer. And then I got one more planter that I just started that I'll be interested to see how it comes along. But in this planter I have a Tabasco pepper and some other kind of pepper back here. I've got some of my some of those flaming orange and pink snapdragons. I was trying to, they were kind of fading really fast, so I wanted to put them out in the shade, maybe let them go longer. And then this is some pink Angelonia, and I just thought this was the prettiest pink. I have the purple one growing in a couple different places, but I've never had pink, especially this like really bright rose pink. And then I picked up these two coleus to go in here as well to make kind of a shade planter. And I need to get a spiller flower to go right there, but that is what that planter is looking like. My cannas, my orange cannas, they just got done blooming. And then back here in this corner I got some shampoo ginger, and I need to massively do a prune job on this giant boxwood right here, so it will get some more sun to my ginger. There is some of the orange canna lilies. These guys, they need water again. I just watered them yesterday, but they need it again. Got some red jalapenos. Alright guys, so that's all for today, and I guess I'll show you real quick what the front is looking like so we can see on June 3rd how we were looking. So there's my dwarf, my worm bins right there, still paying attention to that. But there is my firecracker dwarf red cannas that are growing everywhere. And then I have down below, I have the firecracker looking red salvias that we put in, the little bitty plants that we bought, and some of them came back from previous years. Some Mexican sunflowers, and my yellow canna is blooming, and I think one of these over here is going to be my peach looking colored canna that's a dwarf, but that one fell over. Got too heavy for itself. And all those are done. My candy stripe crinums just finished blooming. They're not on the side of the yard. But there's the purple Angelonia that I pulled from that pot and planted over here, and more of it grew back in that pot. There's some purple salvia that came back from years previous. There's the red ones. Here is some lilies. I think these are spider lilies that are about to bloom. And yeah, I thought I had some gladiolas in here that were going to bloom, but my rose bush is not blooming. None of them are blooming right this second, except for my knockout. So that is what the garden is looking like, you guys, on June the 3rd, 2024. So it's just been a really odd year. It just keeps creeping along. So hope you enjoyed that, and I will talk to you guys later.